Let's transition to Las Vegas. Let's talk about Davante Adams actively recruiting Aaron Rodgers. So Davante Adams this week, he was at the Pro Bowl, and Davante Adams has some interesting comments on Aaron Rodgers. This also comes in the immediate aftermath. Last week, someone had asked Davante Adams on Twitter. They said, where's Aaron Rodgers going to live in 2023? What neighborhood is he going to live in? And Davante Adams responded, my neighborhood. That's where he's going to live. So everyone talked about, oh, is Davante trying to recruit Aaron to Las Vegas? Is the Raiders going to trade for Aaron Rodgers? And so Davante Adams doubled down on expressing his desire for Aaron Rodgers to play in Las Vegas. This was this week at the Pro Bowl. Davante Adams said, quote, 1,000,000%, 100%. That's exactly what I'm trying to portray when discussing him trying to recruit Aaron Rodgers to Las Vegas. And so when I thought about the possibility of Aaron Rodgers going to the Las Vegas Raiders, first, I'm a Packers fan, so I got to address Aaron Rodgers as a Green Bay Packer and how I feel about him moving forward. Last year, Aaron Rodgers statistically had one of his worst seasons as a quarterback. Last year, he had 26 touchdowns. That was ranked 7th in the NFL. He had 12 interceptions, which was tied for 24th in the NFL. His average passing yards per attempt was 6.8. That was ranked 23rd in the NFL. He averaged 217 passing yards per game. That was ranked 11th in the NFL. And he completed 65% of his passes, which was ranked 20th in the NFL. All of those rankings were amongst the worst of his career. And this season was arguably the worst career when it comes to a performance standpoint from Aaron Rodgers. This was the worst year he's had since he's been the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. And Aaron Rodgers, in the last 3 years in the postseason, he has come up short when the lights were at its brightest at Lambeau Field. And this is a part of the reason why I am okay and I have accepted that maybe Aaron Rodgers is not the quarterback that's going to be able to win another Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers organization. I've had to come to the realization and accept the fact that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well in big, meaningful games anymore. And the numbers back it up. Let's go back to the 2020 NFC Championship game, shall we? This is Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter in the final game in the last 3 seasons. 2020 NFC Championship game in the fourth quarter at Lambeau in a game where Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions. This was Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter. 4 of 11 passing, 54 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His passer rating was 52.8 that afternoon at Lambeau Field in his house with a chance to go to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. And Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in that game. Let's fast forward to the 2021 divisional round playoff game against the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite in the playoffs. In the fourth quarter of that game, Aaron Rodgers goes 4 of 7 passing, 17 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His passer rating was 62.2. Now, in that game, the Packers defense didn't give up a single touchdown. Aaron Rodgers at his house in Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers couldn't score more than 10 points. And the Packers defense that night, they did their job. They did their job holding that 49ers offense to only 6 points, because the 7 points that the 49ers scored on their touchdown that they had was on a block punt. So that 49ers offense didn't even score a single touchdown. And Aaron Rodgers couldn't even score over 10 points in that playoff game. And you fast forward to this season. This is the season finale, week 18, at Lambeau in his house, fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers goes 2 of 6 passing, 12 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. His passer rating was 2.8. So each year, it's gotten worse. And for whatever reason, in these big, meaningful playoff games, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play up to his expectations and his standard that he has set so far in his career. Lately, Aaron Rodgers has been pathetic in big, meaningful playoff games as a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. And everyone keeps talking about how the Packers need to improve on this, the Packers need to improve on that. No. Coming from a Packers fan, it's Aaron Rodgers' performance that has to improve in these big playoff games in order for the Packers to get back to the Super Bowl, something they haven't done since 2010. Quit blaming Matt LaFleur. Quit blaming the Packers defense. Quit blaming the Packers receivers and blame Aaron freaking Rodgers. It's time for Aaron Rodgers to show some accountability. I'm tired of year after year after year after the game, Packer fans, NFL analysts blame the defense. They want to blame the receiving core. They want to blame Matt LaFleur. They want to blame Brian Gutekunst, the general manager for the Packers. No, at some point, you got to blame Aaron Rodgers. Mind you, this past season, Aaron Rodgers got paid $50 million. Remember in the offseason last year, he signed a 3-year, I believe it was a $150 million new contract. And the Packers paying Aaron Rodgers $50 million a year to not even make the playoffs? At some point, Aaron Rodgers has become more trouble than he's worth. We know he's a diva. One of the biggest divas in the NFL, always doing an interview with Pat McAfee week after week after week. And there's been so many times this previous year where he didn't show the leadership that he was supposed to show. You know you're going to have rookie receivers in Christian Watson, in Romeo Doubs. You know that in order for the Packers offense to flow at a high level, you need to go to the offseason program and help your young receivers develop chemistry on the field. That way, when the Packers open the season, they can be firing on all cylinders because they've already developed chemistry with their Hall of Fame quarterback. Remember earlier in the season when the Packers were struggling? They went on that like 5 or 6 game losing streak in the middle of the season. And Aaron Rodgers was talking about, we're going to have to cut reps if guys can't make plays. No, Aaron, you need to get your ass in there in the offseason. If you're going to commit to playing another season, you need to commit to the offseason program as well and develop chemistry in the offseason with Christian Watson, with Romeo Doubs, with Sam Tourier. Okay? That's what makes Tom Brady so great. Tom Brady embraced the offseason and embraced going to offseason workouts and throwing 7-on-7 passes with his receivers. That's how you become great. It's not all about what you do September, October, November, and December. It's about what you do in June, July, August, when no one is watching. Don't just show up to training camp thinking, oh, we'll be able to just pick up where we left off from last season. No, get in there in the offseason and develop some chemistry with your young receivers. But again, moving forward, I used to be opposed and against trading Aaron Rodgers. I always said I want Aaron Rodgers to retire a Green Bay Packer. After this loss this previous year to the Detroit Lions and not even participating in the playoffs, crazy as it sounds, I've reached my breaking point, and I'm okay with the Packers moving on from Aaron Rodgers. And that's from my perspective as a Packers fan. But when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I've been hearing all these rumors about the possibility of Rodgers going to New York and playing with the Jets, possibility of him going to Tennessee and playing with the Titans, possibility of him going to Las Vegas and playing with the Raiders. And I started thinking to myself, well, I've been hearing all this over the last few weeks. If you're Aaron Rodgers, why the hell would you go to the AFC to try to get back to a Super Bowl? Because in the AFC, you got Joe Burrow, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Justin Herbert, you got Russell Wilson now that Sean Payton is the head coach in Denver. I believe in order for Aaron Rodgers to get back to another Super Bowl, his easiest path would be to actually stay with the Green Bay Packers in the NFC. It makes no sense for Aaron Rodgers to go to the AFC with all of that competition he's going to have to go up against. Now, I still believe Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback, despite his struggles this previous year. I still think Aaron Rodgers can produce at a high level. The only questions about Aaron Rodgers is, can he elevate his game in key pivotal moments in football games? That's the only question I got about Aaron Rodgers. 4-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl NFL MVP. The man has the best touchdown interception ratio in NFL history. The only questions that I have about Aaron Rodgers is about how he performs in big playoff games. That's the only question I have about Aaron Rodgers. He's answered the call when it comes to everything else. And he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But I don't believe it would be a good idea for Aaron Rodgers to go to the AFC. I believe an easier path for him to get back to another Super Bowl is to stay in the NFC. And honestly, if he stays in the NFC, I believe that he's still the best quarterback in the NFC. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a great season this year, but we have to see some consistency from Jalen Hurts before we can say he's the best quarterback in the conference, right? We know it ain't Dak Prescott. I'm looking at the NFC. Damn sure ain't Daniel Jones. It's not Kirk Cousins. It's not Jared Goff. Aaron Rodgers, if he returns back to Green Bay, he would be the best quarterback in the NFC this season, especially with Tom Brady retiring. Also, if he goes to the Raiders have been one of the worst defensive teams in the NFL. And the last time Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl, he had a top 10 defense that season. Defensively, these are the Raiders' statistics this previous year. They're bottom half in a lot of major categories. They give up 377 total yards per game. That's ranked 27th in the NFL. They give up 243 passing yards per game. That's ranked 29th in the NFL. They give up 25 points per game. That's ranked 26th in the NFL. And teams convert 42% of the time on third down against that Raiders defense. That's ranked 26th in the NFL. So I like their offensive personnel. Their offensive personnel with Davante Adams, with Hunter Renfrow, with Darren Waller at tight end, Josh Jacobs in the backfield. I like their personnel offensively. And I like Josh McDaniels with Aaron Rodgers. I think that's going to be interesting dynamic from a head coaching and quarterback perspective, because I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to appreciate Aaron Rodgers having his weekly appearance on Pat McAfee's show when he critiques the Raiders team as a whole. I don't think that's something that Josh McDaniels or Mark Davis, the owner for the Raiders, would like. But again, I think I think that, again, as a Packers fan, I'm okay with us finally moving on from Aaron Rodgers and seeing what we got in Jordan Love. I'm okay with it. I've reached my breaking point with Aaron over these last 3 years with these terrible performances in big games. But again, I also believe if you're Aaron Rodgers, from a personal standpoint and trying to get back to another Super Bowl, I think it's best if Aaron Rodgers stays in the NFC, and his best chance to get back to a Super Bowl is in Green Bay, not Las Vegas or in New York. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram. These guys know sports. Coming out the break, I'm going to discuss this Tyreek Nichols situation in Memphis. I'll be right back.